Hey guys, MCU Collector here with another figure review. Next up is the Hasbro Marvel Legends series, the celebrating 85 years of Marvel, the Hulkbuster. This is the final set of the anniversary figure line this year. There's always 10 different ones. Sometimes there's 11, sometimes there's 12, but this year there is 10. Unless there's a surprise one that ends up coming up a little bit longer, which again, that tends to typically happen. You know, end up being another store exclusive somewhere or something. But here we have the Hulkbuster. I got this set from Amazon. I don't know if some of the other websites have gotten it in yet, but this should be expected to kind of start hitting all the different sites and everywhere here pretty soon. I don't know if it's going to be in stores anywhere. I think it was just like a fan channel online, you know, Amazon, Hasbro Pulse, Big Bad Toy Store, Entertainment Earth, and then local shops and things like that. But this one's a big one. He is a massive box. So I thought the Odin box was big, and I thought I had one of those Odin boxes nearby. I don't. But this thing is huge. I don't have a standard Marvel Legends box handy. So let's do this. Here's the Punisher 2-pack box, and this thing you can see is significantly taller. Like if I pull back a little bit, you can see how much larger that is. So the box is huge on Hulkbuster. As you can see, one of these back pipe pieces like fell down, but we get the celebrating 85 years logo there, logo at the top. We get the artwork of Iron Man and the Hulkbuster there on the side, looking pretty cool. We get the full image there. The bio reads, a specialized suit designed by Tony Stark, the Hulkbuster armor allows him to stand toe-to-toe with the Hulk when needed. Is this the Extremis suit there? Because isn't this like the Model 14 or / Model 13, the modular armor? Because that's the figure I grabbed, not the Extremis. Maybe I should grab the Extremis to see, like, color-wise, if it's a bit closer match than the modular armor. But anyway, let's get the Hulkbuster figure out of the package and let's take a look. Hey guys, don't forget to hit that subscribe button as we are almost to my 50,000 subscriber goal to hit by the end of 2024. We're a little less than 3,000 away, but with your help, we can make it to the goal. So make sure to hit that subscribe button so you can keep up to date with all the latest videos and reviews that I will put out. I appreciate all your guys' support, so thank you so much. On to the Hulkbuster. Alright, so we have the Hulkbuster out of the package, and there is some assembly required. So let's go ahead and get into it. We just have a few different pieces. So we have a front piece, we have a back piece, and we have these two exhaust pipe type things. So obviously this is going to be in the front because we have our center piece arc reactor there. So I think it's going to go this way. So that's actually going to peg right into the front because you can see that's indented in. So it's weird that they painted that just for it to kind of get covered up. So just slip that on there, and then just this back piece, I think it's actually like that. You just, so it clips on, the two pieces clip together in the front too, and it just it's supposed to go in. Okay, easy enough. No, I just, that does not want to hold. Okay, so that does not want to hold. You still see that gap. Okay, so it's on there. It's on there. But as soon as I start moving it, oh no, it's separated on this side now. What the heck? I know they did that for part of it for the packing purposes, but couldn't they just made that section bulkier and then still have these so you can port them in after? Alright. I think I got, well, okay, well it's holding on, it's holding up now. So we got that, and then we have these two pieces. I don't know if there's a particular left or right. I think these are the exact same, so I don't think it's gonna have to go. Oh, they're keyed a certain way. So this one goes that way because it's keyed in that way, and then this one goes that way, so it's keyed in a certain way. So there we go on the back of the Hulkbuster. So there we go on the Hulkbuster. So he looks pretty good. I guess something about it. it just seems very narrow in the body. I feel like it should be wider. And this piece does add a little bit to it. So when it was out there, it just wasn't as good from behind. I like the size of it. You could see it's very wide. But in the front, it just doesn't feel as wide. I don't know. It's kind of weird. But there we go. So we get a Tony Stark head sculpt to go along. And this thing is really nice. We'll get in for a closer look here shortly. And then we have an extra set of hands. So we have fists for the Hulkbuster on the arms themselves already. They're just kind of open hands, maybe grip potentially. But then, there, we got our Hulkbuster there. So let's go ahead and get in for the closer look. Whoo-wee! There's a close look at the Hulkbuster. So the head sculpt on there, or the helmet, I guess it would be, stays pretty flush with the body. So I was like, oh man, do I have to pull it apart to be able to get the head out? But the head is actually pretty soft. As you can see there, you can kind of squish it down. Obviously, the inner piece is a little bit harder plastic, but it's pretty cool. So I like the design that they put in, all like the kind of the mechanized the mechanics in there. That is pretty cool. And then the head sculpt, as you can see, you know, kind of fits in there. You can see all the inner workings and everything like that. And then the head, because, you know, is obviously his head has to be fully kind of embraced in there. We have the Tony Stark head sculpt, and I think this looks fantastic. It came out great. The hair looks good. The facial features look really good. Looks like an actual person. So I like the way it came out. If anything, the skin tone may be a little soft, but overall, I think really good. And then you can pop a head on there, and then you can have Tony Stark's head exposed. There, he looks very small in the body because, of course, the Hulkbuster armor is quite massive. So as cool as that looks, I still think the helmeted head does obviously kind of look best on there. So we'll get that head on there, and it just kind of fits on there and can swivel around, and we got Hulkbuster. So looking at the Hulkbuster figure kind of all together, we'll kind of do our best to fit as much of it in frame as possible. But this guy is beefy. He is bulky. I will show a comparison with the MCU Hulkbuster figure. Unfortunately, I do not have the Marvel Select Hulkbuster, which was very similar to this, but that would have like a very deep red and a very like bright gold. So color-wise, I think that Select one's going to have better color look to it. Not that this one is bad. It just, you know, the color on that Select one was really nice. My son had it at one time. I don't know if he still has it like at his mom's house or anything, but yeah, Hulkbuster looks really good. We get this nice glow effect is here. You can see the yellow and white gradient paint in there, which is nice. The honeycomb look here on the shoulders came out very nice on the armor. We actually get it on the sides of the legs there as well, so the gold is nice. The red plastic is pretty nice. It doesn't look too bad. There's some marbleization in the gold plastic, as you could see kind of throughout the body here. But then in other areas, well, we get the marbleization there on the knees as well. But like here on the armor pieces, we don't see that because I think this is painted. So there it looks good. There it looks good. Head sculpt, the gold looks pretty good. There, it's just this middle section here where it's the molded plastic along with the knee pads there. But like here on this part right under there, that is actually paint. So where it's painted, it does look a little bit better. We get some silver in some areas. So like here on the feet, on the knee, looks like some black kind of there on the panels for the shins. But the silver there, some silver on the elbows, the inner workings of the elbows. Kind of this thruster piece here in the back. I wish we'd get like a blast effect or something, would be pretty cool. Those piping pieces there, a nice gray color. The shoulder, you could see some inner workings in there that looks really good. And then these upper thighs, you could see a lot of mechanical pieces like hydraulics, wiring, and things like that. Those all look really good. There's no painting or anything in there. Maybe a wash or something would have looked good to kind of help bring out the details. But as it is now, this still looks pretty good there. So that is the Hulkbuster. So pretty, not too shabby, pretty good. So let's go ahead and get into the articulation, and then we'll look at, you know, comparisons and all that good stuff. So I'm not going to really be able to get the whole thing in frame because the Hulkbuster figure is quite tall. I'll get the tape measure so I can give you an accurate, you know, measurement as far as how tall it is. But, you know, being behind the camera and then trying to have to reach to do the articulation can be difficult. But anyway, the helmeted head just does a swivel. You can't really get him to look up. You can't really get him to look down or anything there. The shoulders, the shoulder armor piece is keyed in there, so it doesn't really get in the way. But you can get the arm to go straight out that much. You get a full rotation in there, as you could see, and then you kind of have to work the armor just to make sure it's in the right place. Look at that, and I popped that middle body. Let me see if I can get that piece to snap back together. There, snap. there we go. Okay, so we got that back together. So be careful with that. The arm, we get an upper bicep swivel in there. You get a single jointed elbow, but with that elbow, you can do a just under 90-degree bend on that elbow. Wrists swivel, and they do hinge, standard horizontal hinge on those open hands as well as the fists. We have the diaphragm cut on the Hulkbuster, so getting him to tilt to the side, you could do a little bit there, but it looks like I popped those two pieces. I don't know if it wants to stay on when we kind of try and get some of that articulation going. So that was to the left. To the right, we could tilt in there a bit. Going back, pop the head off. That's weird. Going back isn't really a whole lot. Just kind of looks like he's pumping up his chest. Coming forward, actually more than I would have thought, if I'm being honest with you guys. So that is cool there. And then you also get a swivel at that diaphragm cut in there. And then what I thought was a waist swivel, because it looks like there's some separation in there, is not actually a working swivel. So it looks like there would be a waist swivel in there. That does not move, so it is not a working waist swivel. And then be careful with this, because you don't want to be breaking off these pieces here. They come off quite easily. Yeah, so upper thigh cut in there. Legs go out that far apart. That is pretty good for a big, huge chunk of plastic. This guy is heavy. He can kick forward that far. It kind of goes out a little bit, but he can't kick forward that much. Doesn't really go back. I said the upper thigh swivel, I think, already. Single jointed knee. It looks like it should be double, though. Hold on. No. It looks like there should be a hinge here at the bottom, but I'm not getting that. I'm not getting that. Maybe it's just for the look. No, I can't. It looks like a double jointed knee, right? Looks like it should be double jointed, but I am not getting that bottom one to articulate whatsoever. Hold on. Ah, there we go. That much bend there at the knee. That was more work than it should have taken. So there we go. So it is a double jointed knee. It is pinless at the knee, which is good. So a little stiff. Just be aware of that. There is an ankle ball in there. Ankle pivot. So you have this, I guess, I don't know if this would be like an ankle cover. So that's just kind of a floating piece in there to kind of fill up some of the gaps. So just heads up on that. But you can hinge the foot down. You can hinge up a little bit. You got ankle pivot in there. And you have peg holes at the bottom of the feet. There's 2 peg holes on each one, towards the toes and towards the back of the heel. And we actually get some paint on the bottom of the feet. So that's a little bit surprising. You know, typically Hasbro, you know, if they could not paint something, they typically would opt to do no paint. But, you know, they put paint on the bottom of the feet. So there's the Hulkbuster. Now let's check out some comparisons. Okay, so we have the MCU Hulkbuster, we have the comic Hulkbuster. They stand at about the same height, which is about 9.5 inches. The MCU version is a little bit wider because he's got thicker arms, thicker legs. They're both pretty heavy figures. I think that they're probably they're similar in weight. So there's nothing too crazy going on there. I really like the design of the MCU one. We got that figure released 3 different times. There was the original Build-A-Figure, then there was the international exclusive wave, the best of, that was a darker red. I used to have that Hulkbuster at one time, and I think I sold it off. I didn't need it. And then we got another one in a 2-pack, along with Hulk, that was exclusive to Target, and I want to say that was the Marvel Studios, the first 10 years, that very first anniversary line that we got. So I have 2 Hulkbusters, and now this 3rd Hulkbuster being the comic book one. I kind of like the brighter red of the MCU one, but I like the gold of the comic one, which is quite nice. But, you know, it's got silver on there. There's some silver on this guy. So not anything going on here. I just like the brighter red. I think it stands out a little bit more, but the gold on this is so much better than what we got on the MCU version. Okay, so here we have the Hulk next to the Hulkbuster armor, and you can see the Hulkbuster armor is significantly bigger than the Hulk, because I think it needs to be able to go toe-to-toe with the Hulk. But yeah, that is a big size difference. as you could see there. Okay, so we have a couple of different Iron Mans. We have the modular Iron Man and we have the Extremis. I brought out the Extremis because the artwork shows the Extremis armor in front of that Hulkbuster. But then when I kind of looked it up, it seemed like, you know, the Hulkbuster armor was kind of a modular part to subset to the Iron Man Model 13. So the Model 13 being the modular, then the Hulkbuster being additional parts that go onto that suit, and sometimes it's been designated as its own Model 14. So it's just kind of a back and forth thing that I had noticed there. So I kind of brought, you know, that one out to kind of do the comparisons. Now, the red on this seems to be somewhere in between that of the modular and the Extremis. The Extremis red was kind of a dull red. The modular is a deep red, which I really like. So this guy is kind of in between. And then it seems for the gold, whereas this is a very like bright, like not bright, a dark gold. Completely opposite. I don't know what I was thinking there, but it's kind of a darker gold. Here we had a dull gold, and then this gold is somewhere in between, a little bit brighter. I would have loved if this Hulkbuster would have been basically the colors of the modular Iron Man. I think that would have been really nice, or maybe at least just the red. I think that would have really stood out and really looked nice. Okay, then kind of recreating that artwork with the Extremis Iron Man figure, right, or suit, armor, model right in front, and then you have that Hulkbuster there. So that looks pretty good, I think. I think I kind of nailed that one. It was also extremely easy to do, which still can be difficult for me sometimes. Okay, and then Hulk up against the Hulkbuster. I feel like with Hulk being so much smaller than Hulkbuster, he doesn't really stand a chance, but it's still like a beast of a monster, right, going up against a dude in a metal suit. So I think that's where Hulk, you know, could really get his advantage in. As cool as this Hulkbuster figure is, I think sometimes like posing him around is a little difficult because that upper torso just doesn't allow for a whole lot of motion. And then the arms are pretty decent. You just want to be careful not to pop, you know, the torso piece, you know, get it separated. You know, so just, you know, gotta think about that. But overall, I really like it. I just think, again, the body just seems a little narrow. You know, I wish it was a little bit bulkier kind of in here through the midsection. And I know this top part, you know, does make it a little bit bulky, but, you know, I just wish, like, here at the waist, just would have consistently, size-wise, all the way up and down. Okay, so here we have all 10 sets of the Marvel 85th anniversary. We've got Scar, Hulkbuster, Odin, the Amazon exclusive Cabal of Doctor Doom, Taskmaster, Iron Patriot. We have the Heroes for Hire, Luke Cage and Iron Fist. We have the Warbird, Miss Marvel, Carol Danvers. We've got the retro Walmart exclusive Venom. Then we have Superior Spider-Man, Astonishing Wolverine, and of course Danny Ketch, Ghost Rider with the Health Cycle. So pretty good anniversary line this year. I think each year there are pretty good choices. Sometimes I think, oh, why wouldn't they go with this? But, you know, we can always kind of speculate and, you know, wish we wanted something. But this year was a little bit of a surprise. I'm like, oh, what could it possibly be? I'm like, even I was in a car with Wade. We were doing a road trip. We were driving somewhere. I don't remember where it was. And I was thinking, like, what could they be doing for the anniversary line? And I was like, oh, it's the 85th anniversary, but that doesn't make sense. So that's a weird number to do it, right? We got the 80th anniversary. No way they do 85th. Well, and they did. And I think we got some really good figures out of this. The Iron Patriot is surprisingly a good one. Taskmaster blew me away. The Warbird is awesome. Danny Ketch is really cool. Astonishing Wolverine, really, really great. Superior Spider-Man is pretty good. I think narrow in the torso, but good figure. Venom, I love, even though he's limited. He's got some limited articulation. I do love the way that figure looks. Iron Fist is a surprise hit for sure. Odin is crazy. Hulkbuster is crazy. Scar is just okay. But pretty awesome set all around. It's probably not my favorite anniversary line. That's probably going to go towards those MCU ones, like the Marvel Studios, the first 10 years. That very first anniversary line was like everything to me. Infinity Saga was a pretty good one, but there's a lot of biases in there. But solid for sure. You guys let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. What do you think of the Hulkbuster figure? Is it one that you're hoping and excited to pick up? Or have you already gotten it? And then your overall thoughts on the Marvel 85th anniversary line. What did you think of this year's program? And which one is your favorite? Let me know down in the comments below. If you guys like this video, please do me a favor and hit that thumbs up button. Make sure to subscribe. Let's get me to the 50,000 subscribers by the end of 2024. Less than 3,000 to go. I think we can do it, but I need your guys' help. And of course, as always, thank you for watching.